Welcome to the Afterspin, opinions from thought leaders across North Carolina. We're nearly 2 weeks into a drawn-out legislative session where they redrew the legislative maps ordered by a 3-judge panel. That's given the politicos a chance to look at the new maps and forecast results. John, under the new maps that you've seen and studied, where do we stand going into the elections next year?
If the House and Senate maps that were drawn under the court order stick, as they're currently pictured, I think that the Democrats will, everything else being equal, they'll probably gain some seats against the previous maps. But I think the more important point is that will be somewhat more, not double or triple, there will be more districts that are competitive. So when people say, well, according to the recent election results, I predict that under these maps there'll be 27, that's way too much precision. Some of these districts are such that depending upon how the presidential race unfolds, which is the most important variable, and some other things, either the Democrats or the Republicans could have a good year and be in charge or one or both of the chambers. I think that is certainly possible under these maps.
Chris, if the Democrats intend to take back, and that's a big question, the legislature, can they, and where do the battlegrounds exist?
Well, I do think there are probably a slightly higher number of competitive districts. I think the Senate is still difficult, not impossible. I think the House is where the push will be, and this is the defining race for a decade, as we know. They'll be drawing the districts. We'll see what the redistricting to form until that happens, and I want it to happen before the 2021 session. I don't know if it will or not. If it doesn't, the Democrats have to control one chamber of the House, or we're going to have another 10 years of Republican rule unless a lot of things change. So there's a lot of pressure there. I do think John is right about we are coming up on a presidential election. I guess we say this every time, but a giant crossroads for America in the presidential race. And I think depending on how Trump does, and right now he's not doing very well, if that continues, I think some of these the Democrats have a good chance of taking a chamber. If he stabilizes and manages to rally North Carolina, all bets are off.
And it's not just about Trump, though. It's also about who the Democratic nominee is.
Well, that's right. Although he's such a poll, I agree with that, but I also think I think he, unlike many people, has more at stake. It's not like the Elizabeth Warren or Joe Biden would be running against Mitt Romney.
It's certainly the case, but I actually personally know people who would vote for Joe Biden over Donald Trump and vote for Trump over Elizabeth Warren. And they're not just three of them.
Oh, yeah, no,
and so there are enough voters out there that it depends on who the Democrat is as to how that matchup plays out in North Carolina, which then has effects down the ballot.
But it also, but Trump could crater so badly in the next year that almost might be moot. But I don't necessarily disagree. The nominee is important.
This week, man, holy cow! It couldn't have been a worse week for the president. And he's had a lot of bad weeks. The Joker keeps coming back, though. He rebounds. There's
Joker
no doubt.
being the operative word.
Yes, absolutely. As the movie is coming out, so we'll see you at the cinema. Well, thanks, folks. Thank you for watching the Afterspin. More video all during the week on ncspin.com.